So if you think you're stuck in that skinny fat physique and you want to get lean and muscular, this video is for you, and I'm going to break this down quickly and simple and to the point. But just to clarify, if you've got body fat you want to lose and muscle you want to gain, then you're probably stuck in that skinny fat physique. Kind of unsure whether you should go onto a cut and risk losing those hard-earned gains and get skinnier and not really look the same way you want to and actually end up just being a smaller version of skinny fat, or whether you should go into a bulk and just accept that those love handles and moves are going to grow with you. If neither of those options sound good, or maybe you've tried them before, this solution will fix that. And I have done this over 205 times now, so here's some proof of the pudding, whether or not you should even watch this video. All these people have followed this exact method, and let's break it down straight away, right? So, skinny fat. There's body fat in your body you don't like, be it around your belly, your moves, either way, you're not confident, you're not feeling great, you take your shirt off on the beach and you're like, I'm going to put it back on, right? And you still want some muscle, it's just not working. That's the starting point. So, first things first, what is the first step? This, right? That is a chicken leg, by the way, just to clarify. This is simply put, you want to eat below your maintenance calories, right? Most people go onto a cut and they drop their calories down massively low. Maybe they do keto or carnivore and they just cut out all of their carbs. That normally means a good 50% of their calories are lower than usual, so they can end up being in a massive calorie deficit. A big calorie deficit, if you're skinny fat, means that you'll lose fat, yes, but you will get skinny. You will end up going catabolic, where you start to lose muscle tissue and you end up skinnier than normal, which means you're either going to have to look worse and feel worse for a very long time, or you may end up just being a smaller version of skinny fat. So a way around this is to eat in a smaller calorie deficit, hence why we've got an arrow in a smaller range. That just simply means that we're able to achieve a recomposition. Some people say to do a recomposition by eating at your maintenance, and that can still work, definitely. But let's be real, if your food is a little bit over, you're not going to be at maintenance. If your food's a little bit under, you're not going to be at maintenance. It's going to be too fluctuative, too sort of wishy-washy, hoping for the best. You're better off just being guaranteed and clarifying a small calorie deficit. Now, this video isn't going to be vague. I want to give you step-by-step how you can do that. How can you get a small calorie deficit? I've provided a free nutritional blueprint. This will show you how to work it out exactly for you, your body type, and how to adjust it and what macros to set, because online calculators these days are quite vague and they don't really take into the context that you're skinny fat. And if you like the transformations you've seen here, you can work with me one-to-one. Given the time of year, I am taking on one-on-one clients. That's how these guys got their results, because I walked them through this, gave them the accountability and guidance, and I go through everything with them one-on-one. If you want the same help, you can book a call here, and if I can help you, I'll help you. 500 calories is what I would normally recommend. So let's say your maintenance here is 2,500. We would then eat 2,000. That means we're achieving a 500 calorie deficit, because 500 times 7 days of the week is 3,500, and that equates to 1 pound of body fat lost. Now you might think to yourself, well, what if I did 1,000 calorie deficit? Then you start to reach into this range. That's when you start to lose fat and muscle. We want to prevent going catabolic, because otherwise you're going to get shredded, but you'll be, down to the bone, which means you're not fixing the skinny fat. You've gone skinny fat to skinny. And then if you do a bulk and you gain fat and muscle, you might end up just right back to square one, right? Ask me how I know, because I've done it. So we want a small calorie deficit. And the reason there's a weird looking chicken leg over here, and if you're vegan, you can still do it. You don't have to eat a chicken leg. In fact, here's one of my vegan clients. How cool is that? So we want high protein. So it's all well and good eating in a calorie deficit. But if you're in a calorie deficit and you're not eating sufficient protein, again, you're not going to keep muscle and you certainly won't be gaining it. So high protein, small calorie deficit, you're going to start to lose body fat and potentially gain muscle. But you ain't going to gain muscle unless you do this next step. Bosh, right? Look at, he's jacked, isn't he? Look at him. He's bigger than me. So this guy is getting stronger. And the reason I'm saying that is if you're skinny fat and you want to gain muscle and you want to lose body fat at the same time, you must get stronger. What a lot of men do is they think, right, I want to get shredded. Let's go and do loads of cardio. Let's do the fat burning class, right? Legs, bums and tums, high rocks, CrossFit. They just do all these sort of star signs of fitness, shall we say. No offense if you enjoy those things. If you enjoy them, do them. But in terms of getting the result we're talking about, they're not the most optimal way. If you're getting stronger with a slight calorie deficit and high protein, your body's going to lose body fat. But your body adapts to what you put it through, right? If you sit on the couch and eat loads of potato chips all day, you're going to slowly start to turn into a couch potato, right? You are what you eat. You just adapt your lifestyle. If you're getting stronger and you're hitting high protein, your body will then start to lose fat with adaptation. You're going to have to gain muscle. You're going to have to keep muscle. Your body's being put for its paces. It will need to keep up. So an adaptation getting stronger is muscle retention. If you're eating high protein, you're going to recover properly. If you're still in that calorie deficit, you're going to start to lose body fat. So getting stronger is important. You don't want to just get a pump. You don't want to get nice and toned and do the light squeezy movements. Focus on key compound movements. Now, my suggestion would be keep it as simple as bread and butter, right? Pull, push legs. Yes, it's a bro split. Yes, you can argue twice a week volume, whatever, right? You can always make an argument against anything in the fitness industry, which is why it gets complicated. Let's keep it simple. Pull, push legs. Why? You're hitting one muscle group each per week, okay? Once per week, every muscle group's getting hit. It's easy to monitor, it's easy to progress with, and it keeps things continuous, right? It's easy to do the same workout and look at the progress and see how things are going. If you're changing workouts every single week, if you're jumping from program to program, there's no clarity on where you're going, you're gonna get lost, right? I've done that for a long time. Here's a picture of me making no progress in 6 years because of that. We want clarity. Yes, you can do pull push legs and then start to slowly refine it. Maybe your shoulders aren't growing, so you need to add a bit more shoulders. Maybe you've got a terrible chest like me and you might need to do some decline bench press to build up them little titties. You get the point. You can always make things more advanced, but start simple to begin with. So get stronger, okay? Adding reps, adding weight, and when that starts to plateau, make some adjustments, which we'll cover over here. Now, the reason I got this guy on this doing a dance on a treadmill or a skateboard with handles or a scooter, whatever you think that looks like, it's actually a man doing a weird-looking run on the treadmill. Cardio, right? That's the elephant in the room, cardio. I've actually got a little elephant. Let me show you my elephant. Here's the elephant in the room. It's a little one, isn't it? He's done his cardio. Anyway, sorry, getting distracted now. Cardio is fine. The reason I put cardio below the strength man is because what you don't want to do is do cardio instead of strength training. If you're trying to get fixed skinny fat, right? This is not blanket statement for every single person. This is what I'd recommend. The reason being, if you do lots of cardio, no strength training, you'll lose body fat, you'll burn calories, but your body doesn't really have a reason to keep any thickness and fullness and lean mass. I actually had a client called Luke, shout out Luke. So Luke basically got shredded, did really well, right? And then he started doing, planning for a marathon, because, when you hit your 30s, you start thinking about doing marathons. I don't know why that is, right? Midlife crisis fitness. Anyway, you do marathons, he just did loads of cardio, and then because of that, he started to skip the gym, he stopped doing the weights, he did loads and loads of cardio, he's still tracking his calories, still doing a great job, he still got fitter, he still looked after himself, but then he started to lose muscle, he started to gain body fat, even though he was supposed to be in a calorie deficit, and it's because his body was adapting to the running, so he started to lose muscle tissue, which means he doesn't need as many calories to sustain his physique, and then he ended up just getting a little bit more skinny fat, not too bad, and then he did go back to doing the weights and fixed it. But he learned his lesson, too much cardio is not great. Add it in as a supplement. Don't go to the gym, do 50 minutes of running, then try and get stronger because you've just spent your limited carbs, energy, and glycogen on the wrong thing. Get strong, then do cardio. Get strong, and if you go over your calories, do cardio. If you enjoy cardio for mental and physical health, do it after, okay? It still could be in there, but to be honest with you, I'll use a good example. Shane, no cardio. Reese, no cardio. I think that's probably about it. Maybe Tom, zero cardio, but Matt, he did some cardio, but we prioritized strength training. So it is important to prioritize that, okay? I know I've kind of bled on about this point, but it's very important because that is a mistake I made. Every time I went on a cut, I'm like, do loads of cardio. And then I'm like, why do I look like a runner? Because I'm running. Do you know what I mean? So get stronger. Now, this is probably where most of you are right now. You've done your diet, you've done your training, but you're not looking like this chap here, right? You're looking like him. Why is that? And that is because you will plateau. You will hit a wall because the body is a clever, stubborn bugger, right? It's a clever, stubborn bugger. What happens is your body gets used to things. It adapts, which is a good thing, right? You get stronger, you get fitter, you adapt, you have more energy, you have more strength. Great. But if you don't advance from that point, you're going to stay at the same point or maybe even go backwards. So what this means is instead of going, oh, my workout plan ain't working, I need to do a new one, you got to look at the data. What's it telling you? When was the last time you added reps to a lift? When was the last time you added weight to a lift? When was the last time you worked on your form? Have you lost a pound this week? Yes or no? Have you lost 2 pounds or have you gone up a pound? You need to review the data to know when to make an adjustment. Some people don't hit a plateau for a few months. Some people hit a plateau in 2 weeks. It depends on your experience, depends on your genetics, depends on your lifestyle and your age and your starting point and whatever, right? People will hit a plateau. This is where most men get stuck. They start in January, they get excited, they hit a plateau, they lose interest, they lose motivation, they fall off. This is important. The way I counterbalance this with my clients that I've been showing you in these photos is we look at their daily weigh-ins to look at the week's average, because it will fluctuate. We look at their weekly progress photos to make sure they're losing body fat and keeping muscle, and if something ain't working, we can make an adjustment. And we look, very importantly, at their performance in the gym. They might need to change the ordering. They might need to add more volume. They might need to do less volume. This is key goods. This is extremely important. So to keep it simple, so it's practical for you to follow along, do daily weigh-ins and then look at your weekly total. Are they sitting lower? Great. Carry on. If they're not, you might need to lower your calories. You might need to do some extra cardio. You might need to push harder in the gym. Then you can also look at your workouts. So track your workouts. How many reps have you done? How much weight have you done? This is why you want to keep the workout simple so it's easy to follow. Once you look at those workouts each week, cool. If nothing's improved in 6 weeks of you doing the same workout routine, then you can go to the drawing board. Am I sleeping enough? Am I drinking enough water? Am I actually hitting my protein so I'm recovering to come back stronger? Am I trying hard enough? Am I stressed? There's a lot of things to factor in here. It's not just meal plan, training plan, it's life plan, okay? Look at the data, make adjustments. If you're not sure, you can always drop me a message, Elite Transformation Project on Instagram, or a comment or whatever, okay? Make sure you get these numbers right and adjust them. Now, if you do this successfully, if you're in a slight calorie deficit with high protein, so you're losing body fat and keeping muscle, and you're getting stronger in the gym, so you're gaining muscle or retaining muscle through adaptation, and you adjust when you hit a plateau, you will lose body fat, you will keep muscle, and you will fix that skinny fat physique. And you'll be like this chap over here, shredded and happy. Looks like me, right? So, you might be thinking, oh, okay, that's all well and good, mate. What if I do this and I still want more muscle? Well, I'm glad you asked that, mystery person. If you get to the end of this and you're still not satisfied with your physique, you're lean, but you've got muscle, well, guess what? Because you're lean and you've kept your strength, you can now do a reverse diet, slowly build these calories back up, start training for more muscle hypertrophy, so adding more reps, more time under tension. You can go on basically a bulk, but keep the calories slight surplus and build it. Because you've started stronger and leaner, it's going to be easier for you to add muscle and it's going to be easier for you to keep it lean. And then once you add all that muscle and get that size, you're probably good there. And if you get to that point, you think, oh, I wouldn't mind being a little bit leaner, you can repeat this process. Instead of doing a massive bulk and gaining loads of fat and doing a massive cut and losing loads of muscle, this is the solution. Let me know if this helps, okay? Any questions, you can drop them down below. You can always email me here. If you want to watch another video on how you can fix skinny fat a little bit more precisely, watch this video over here. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you like the transformations you've seen here, you can work with me one-to-one. Given the time of year, I am taking on one-on-one clients. That's how these guys got their results, because I walked them through this, gave them the accountability and guidance, and I go through everything with them one-on-one. If you want the same help, you can book a call here, and if I can help you, I'll help you. Let's have the best 2026 of all time.